Hello, BookTube. Well, even if you didn't have a calendar on the wall or on your fancy iPhone, you'd still be able to guess from my background what day of the week it is, because as you can see, uh-oh, there's a plastic mail tub full of book packages, which we will get to. And the reason you can tell that that means it's a Saturday is because during the week, my mail truck driver, Tom from Tipperary, wouldn't leave a mail tub for me now that we know each other. He rings the bell. I go out, we chat, we chew the fat, we joke a little, and then he goes on his way, after handing me my packages and saying his ritual, "Got enough to read, do you?" This guy I don't know from Adam. Not Adam at Memento Mori. He wouldn't be caught doing a hard day's work. No, he just left this on the front porch. But it's full of books. I thought that might be of interest. So let's see. We'll start with the one that almost didn't make it. It's got a big opening in it. What is this? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, this is from Harvard University Press. And this comes out in May. Wow, did not know this was coming. Great big thing. This is Amartya Sen, Collective Choice and Social Welfare. Fairly brainy. Can the values which individual members of society attach to different alternatives be aggregated into values for society as a whole, in a way that is both fair and theoretically sound? Good Lord. So it's Collective Choice and Social Welfare, an expanded edition. I'm thinking that Amartya Sen's mother might have been the only person who thought that was a good idea. But it doesn't matter. I absolutely love this thinker. That's fantastic. Wow. Fantastic. Okay, great. So a very interesting start and also a surprising one. Now we'll move on to this thing here. Much thinner. This is from FSG. This is also something I did not request. Isn't that fun? So this comes out in August. And it is Gene Smith's Sink, A Wide-Angle View by Sam Stephenson. An incisive biography of a prolific photo essayist, W. Eugene Smith. In an interview with Philippe Halsman, W. Eugene Smith remarked, "I didn't write the rules, why should I follow them?" Famously unabashed, Smith is photography's most celebrated humanist. During his reign as a photo essayist at Life magazine in the 1940s and 50s, he established himself as an intimate chronicler of human culture. Okay. All right, so this is what? The first biography of him? And it's by Sam Stephenson. I must say, I don't know anything about W. Eugene Smith, except that he's a moron. I didn't write the rules, why should I follow them, is something that sounds great on a bumper sticker, but is something that only a moron would actually say or believe. But maybe he's a good photographer. Certainly there is precedent for morons who are good photographers. All right, let's get this thing out of the way. I spent a chunk of the day taking care of the dogs, so dealing with books is a great relief, especially with all of you dealing with them with me. Next one is a finished copy, another book that I did not request. This is due in late April, and it is Oppose Any Foe, The Rise of America's Special Operations Forces by Mark Moyar. It's kind of an evocative cover. Oppose Any Foe is the epic story of America's most elite warriors, the Special Ops Forces. Born as small appendages to the conventional armies of World War II, the Special Operations Forces have grown into a behemoth of 70,000 troops, including Navy SEALs, Army Special Forces, Air Force Night Stalkers, Special Operations Marines, Rangers, and Delta Force. Weaving together their triumphs and tribulations, acclaimed historian Mark Moyar introduces a colorful cast of military men brimming with exceptional talent, courage, and selflessness. In a nation where the military is the most popular institution, America's Special Forces have become the most popular members of the military. Though nighttime raids on enemy compounds and combat advising of resistance movements Special operators have etched their names into the nation's registry of heroes, yet the public knows little of the journey that they took to reach those heights, a journey that was neither easy nor glamorous. Okay, so this is going to be full-on PR. And Mark Moyar is, who is he when he's at home? He's the director of the Center for Military and Diplomatic History in Washington, D.C. Okay, all right, he's a museum tour guide. So he's not going to, there's going to be very little in this book about the bad side of America's Special Armed Forces. Their general unaccountability, for instance, or their tendency on leaked videotapes to joke and laugh as if they were playing arcade video games while they're in the act of mowing down civilians from helicopters. There won't be anything in here about that. He has served as a fellow at the Joint Special Operations University and a consultant for U.S. Special Operations Command. And he lives in Oak Hill, Virginia. So, all right. So this could still be absolutely fascinating, but it is definitely a partisan book. So, you know, the cover copy called him an acclaimed historian, and that might be true, but let's skip that description for this particular book. Okay, since even if he is an acclaimed historian, he's certainly not acting as one. Well, we'll see. It could be that the book is completely different from the cover copy, but I severely doubt it. We'll move on to this one here. This is this next one. It's just I'm leery of special ops forces that act outside of the chain of command, that act outside of immediate accountability. I'm leery of the need for them, because if you have a group of men who act by night and who act in stealth and who don't necessarily answer to you, there's all sorts of things that you can do that I don't think you should be able to do if you're Dick Cheney. But maybe the book will teach me something different. Maybe it will. All right, so fantastic. All right, so this next one I did request. I thought that was going to be the theme of this one, is a whole tub of books I didn't request, but I did request this one. This comes out in June, and it's Need You Dead by Peter James. Look at that cover, huh? It's, let's see here. What makes a killer? Too much of a memento mori would be a start. Award-winning writer, producer, and best-selling author Peter James answers this question in his latest novel, in the Detective Roy Grace series, which reflects his deep interest in and respect for law enforcement. Lorna Belling, desperate to escape her marriage from hell, falls for the charms of another man who promises her the world. But as Lorna finds, life doesn't always follow the plans you've made. A chance photograph on a client's mobile phone changes everything for her. Okay. All right, so this comes out in June in hardcover for $30. And what Macmillan could do, what they would be so smart to do, in my opinion, would be to take this. This looks exactly like a UK paperback. Take this and issue it for $16 as Need You Dead by Peter James, without there ever being a $30 hardcover. Don't issue the $30 hardcover. Instead, just print this. It's lovely. It fills the hand nice and solid, and I bet you'd get more readers that way. But maybe they're not interested in number. Maybe they're just interested in per capita expense. But let's see. Let's move on to the next one. Awful opinionated so far, right out of the gate. Good Lord. Here, let's see what we have here. This feels like another finished copy. And so it is. This is due later in the month. It's The New Map of Empire, which we saw before. This is How Britain Imagined America Before Independence, by S. Max Edelson. And this will have the artwork that the advanced copy did not have. Just exactly what the subtitle says. These are the surveillance maps and whatnot. Well, here we go. After the Treaty of Paris ended the 7 Years' War in 1763, British America stretched from Hudson Bay to the Florida Keys, from the Atlantic coast to the Mississippi River, and across new islands in the West Indies. To better rule these vast dominions, Britain set out to map its new territories. Little knowing. So there we go, The New Map of Empire. Let's see, what else have we got here? What else have we got here? This is too... It's two romance novels. The first one was by Anne Gracie. It is a marriage of convenience romance, and it is called Marry in Haste. And I suppose the follow-up would be Repent at Leisure, but I see a swan in a private pond. I see a big house with a steeple in the background. I see a riding stable. I see a yard. I see a fine silk dress. I'm not seeing much to regret. Let's see what's going on here. Major Calbourne Rutherford returns to England on the trail of an assassin, only to find he's become Lord Ashington, with the responsibility of vast estates and dependent relatives. Cal can command the toughest of men, but his wild half-sisters are quite another matter. They might just be his undoing. When he discovers that Miss Emmeline Westwood, the girl's former teacher, guides them with ease, Cal offers her a marriage of convenience. But strong-minded and independent M is neither as compliant nor as proper as he expected, and Cal finds himself most inconveniently seduced by his convenient wife. And the next one is a Wicked Worthington series book. This is called Wedded Bliss by Celeste Bradley. I am detecting a distinctly maritime theme on the cover. Although, I can't help but notice, just editorially speaking, there's an element missing from both these covers. You spot it, book two? Rippling pecs are missing from these covers. Bulging biceps. Washboard abs. A-frame shoulders. There are no step backs. The sisters are doing it for themselves. Anyway, as a ship's captain, highborn bastard Morgan Price has spent his life sailing away from England. Okay, we can't see Morgan Price? It's a Saturday. I'd like a glimpse of a highborn bastard, wouldn't you? Notice I'm not mentioning Memento Mori. The last thing he needs is a wife. It's typically the way. But when he fears that his titled half-brother Neville is about to be snared by a gold digger, Morgan aims to protect Neville by tricking the lovely crook into marrying him first. He knows he can't allow himself to believe a word she says, if only she weren't so convincing. All right, so Wedded Bliss and Marry in Haste, both about marriage, both with marriage in the title, both with beautiful young women on the cover and alone. No bee-sting lips, no wavy raven hair, no come-hither eyes, no pillow-like pecs, no nothing. All right, let's move on. I don't think we're going to get any of those things in any of these other books, but you never know. What have we got here? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, this thing. Okay, and it comes to me without any folderol, without a pub sheet of any kind. I have heard a lot about this book. Oh, my. Okay, this is Laura Kipnis. This is Unwanted Advances. Sexual Paranoia Comes to Campus. If this is feminism, it's feminism hijacked by melodrama, is the quote on the cover. I have heard of this book. Feminism is broken, argues Laura Kipnis, who is a cultural critic and a professor at Northwestern University. Anyone who thinks the sexual hysteria overtaking American campuses is a sign of gender progress is deranged. A committed feminist, Kipnis was surprised to find herself the object of a protest march by student activists at her university for writing an essay about sexual paranoia on campus. Next, she was brought up on Title IX complaints for creating a hostile environment. Defying confidentiality strictures, she wrote a whistleblowing essay about the ensuing 72-day investigation, which propelled her to the center of national debates over free speech, safe spaces, and the vast federal overreach of Title IX. And this is she has been in the news calling it a new sexual McCarthyism. Very direct language. I didn't know what to make of it until I read an incident in which I'm hazy on the details, so I might have it wrong. In fact, it might be a false news meme. I seem to recall a story about a university that has instituted a rule where a young woman can decide months, weeks later, after an encounter with a young man, never, as far as I've been able to hear, the reverse, that she can decide months later that she, upon reflection, now, in December, was not, back in June, willing. And that therefore that encounter, about which she's saying its praises on Facebook in the interval, was in fact rape. And I don't know if that's true. That story might not be true. But it's the kind of thing that Laura Kipnis that outrages her. And of course, there was in the news the not so much Title IX hysteria, but the safe spaces, non-platforming wave of aggressiveness going through college campuses. We have undergraduates screaming at their college administrators on camera, on campus, and not getting immediately expelled. You have people assaulting guest speakers who are brought into campus rather than arguing with them. Pick at them, throw things at them, yell things at them, trample on their venue, cut down the audio, and then in the most recent case, when they try to leave, try to stop them. I guess to do what? String them from a lamppost? I have no idea. It's a mess. It makes me, every time I read a story like that in the news, or I will read this book right away. I was kind of happy. I was hoping I would get a copy of it. Every time I encounter the reports from this world of what the undergraduate world in America's higher profile colleges is like, I'm so glad I'm not a part of it anymore. I was leaving college just as the first beginnings of the whole political correctness movement were starting, and they revolted me even then. God only knows what it would be like now. Actually, God and Laura Kipnis knows what it's like now, so I will consume this book. It does make quite a swing from Regency romances now, doesn't it? Oh, it's more romances. And the problem with the last two we saw? Well, it's been fixed in these two at the cost of another problem. So first we have Jennifer Ashley, Red Wolf, a Shifter's Unbound novel. Red Wolf shifter Dimitri has fought his whole life for respect. It is claimed that red wolves are tainted with coyote blood and therefore not pure. What's wrong with coyote blood? They're delightful people. I may be the only booktuber who has head nuzzled with a wild coyote. He may not be skilled at verbally defending himself. Oh, I like him already. But because he's a bodyguard, tracker, and champion of the fight clubs, his fists are always ready for some rough and tumble. However, he'd prefer a roll in the hay with a woman who is his oldest friend. And she is a leopard shifter. So he's a red wolf shifter, and she's a leopard shifter. And that is the cover. Let's make sure that we're doing him justice. There we go. And then the next one is by Serena Bowen, and it is called Pipe Dreams. It's a Brooklyn Bruiser novel. Mike Beacon is a champion at defending the net, but off the ice, he's not so lucky. A widower and a single father, he's never forgotten Lauren Williams, the ex who gave him the best year of his life. When Lauren reappears in the Bruiser's office during the playoffs, Beacon sees his chance to make things right. Lauren hates that she's forced to travel with the team she used to work for and the man who broke her heart. There's still undeniable sexual tension running between her and Mike, but she won't go down that road again. She's focused on her plans for the future. She doesn't need a man to make her dreams of motherhood come true. Okay. I know what the cover writer is thinking, but technically. anyway, this is the inimitable cover of Pipe Dreams. So you see that we have a little matchmaking to do. there's see, they're all alone. They're all four of them alone. Oh, let's see. All right, so we're at the last one. You're probably about sick of me by now. We'll do this one, and then we'll be done for today. Let's see what this is. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! It's a Norton Critical Edition. We've dealt with these before on this channel. Norton Critical Editions. You have the main text at the beginning, and then you have critical essays and biographical stuff at the back. And this is The Scarlet Letter and Other Writings by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Look at that cover. So, of course, the immediate question is, what are the other writings? So we have The Scarlet Letter. And then a bunch of, you have 5 short stories and passages from the notebooks and letters. And then a huge chunk of criticism. Oh, fantastic. Wow, what a volume. Okay, great. So a Norton Critical Edition of The Scarlet Letter. That's fantastic. Let's see. A New Map of Empire. Unwanted Advances. The Sexual Paranoia Comes to Campus. Need You Dead by Peter James. Oppose Any Foe by Mark Moyar, about special ops. Wide Angle View, biography of a photographer. Collective Choice and Social Welfare, the Expanded Edition by Amartya Sen. And then 4 romances with incomplete covers. And there you go. That is our plastic tub mail haul. And I'll see you soon, Book 2.